What's up, guys? Welcome to the channel. Dom's Moto. Today we're going to be working on the 2020 KTM 500 XCFW. We're going to be installing some Acerbis clutch and ignition covers. Got them in the bright orange color. Should look pretty nice against the plastics. Just picked them up, bought them off Rocky Mountain. Just came in the other day and we're going to get these things installed. But before we do that, let's have a look at them. So here we have the box that they came in. So it's Acerbis, color orange, clutch X power, ignition X power. Let's pop this open. Oh, well, hopefully the clutch cover holds up better than the box does. There you go, looks pretty cool. That's probably the clutch side there, and then this is the stator cover. Looks pretty nice. Got a little instruction booklet with some washers. All right, so pretty much the only tools you're gonna need for this thing is a 1/4 inch socket wrench. May or may not need the extension, and an 8mm socket. All right, so first things first, we're gonna have to get the skid plate out of the way so I can access the bolts down here. Okay, so take your 8mm, loosen this screw, and then loosen this screw. We'll pull those off, and then we'll drop the cover down. Okay, so once you get the skid plate dropped down to get access to the lower bolt, we're gonna be removing this bolt, that bolt, and then this one right here next to the shifter. So we'll get those taken out, and then we'll put the cover on. We'll put the bolts back in with those little gold washers. Okay, so there's what the ignition cover looks like on there. It's kind of a tight fit. I had to pop it on there with my hand, but now we're gonna install these bolts. I'm gonna put one here, and one down here. So I've got the little spacer on there, so hopefully when I stick it in there and tighten it down, that little spacer will center up and just push it into the plastic. If not, I might have to pop this off and then try to seat them in before I tighten the bolts down. But let's see if just tightening the bolts down will get the little spacer seated in there. All right, so I got the bolts tightened down on the ignition side. Spacers went in no problem, just snugged the bolts up and then just kind of did it by feel. But it never hurts to check your owner's manual for specifications on torque and then torque them to the recommended settings. I didn't have a torque wrench handy. I just did it with a 1/4 inch ratchet and did it off feel, and I'm pretty confident they're gonna be nice and tight and they're not gonna come loose. But if you even are thinking or questioning it, just look up the torque specs and then torque it down. But on this type of application, I think just doing it by hand and then doing it by feel, you'll be just fine. So we got the ignition cover installed, and now we're just gonna go over to the other side and just repeat the process with the clutch cover. We're gonna take out 4 bolts instead of 3 on this side, and then we'll get this thing installed, and then we'll just take a look at it and see what it looks like. So on the clutch side, you're gonna remove this bolt, this bolt, this bolt, and this bolt. Now mind you, this bolt and this bolt were the same size, these two. This bolt was this short one, and then the one up here by the oil fill was this real long one. So we gotta make sure not to mix those up. All right, clutch cover's installed. Looks pretty cool on the bike. Overall, pretty simple, straightforward process. Probably takes less than 5 minutes to install. 2 bolts, drop the skid plate down, 3 bolts on the ignition side, 4 bolts on the clutch side. They just bolt right up. It's pretty simple and straightforward. And there you go. You got protection for your clutch cover, your ignition cover. Looks cool. It's a little piece of bling. And a protection piece at the same time. Easy install. I think they were about 50 bucks on Rocky Mountain. Overall, great fit and finish. All right, guys, so that wraps up today's video. Acerbis clutch and ignition covers on the 2020 KTM 500 XCFW. Pretty easy install, pretty straightforward. 8mm and a 1/4 inch ratchet is all you need. Takes less than 5 minutes. Looks good on the bike. It's gonna protect the clutch and ignition covers. Pretty cheap, 50 bucks. It's on there. It's a cool little piece of bling. You know, it's just a little flair to the bike. Overall, pretty simple and straightforward install. Would I recommend? Yes. So there you go. Have at it. Thanks for watching. Enjoy, like, subscribe, comment. We'll see you in the next one.